Hello and welcome to another edition of RHOX Garage. I'm your host, Kevin. On today's episode, we're going to show you how to install an impact modified windshield, part number WIN-4014 on this 2011 Club Car Precedent. Now before we get started, let's take a closer look at what's included with your windshield, as well as the tools we will be using to perform the installation. Now the first item you'll have is going to be your actual impact modified windshield. Now we're going to move over to the table and take a look at the other components included in the box. Now you'll also receive 2 extruded channels, as well as all the necessary mounting hardware to secure your windshield to the cart. Now let's take a look at the tools that we will be using to perform our installation today. The tools that we will be using today are a ratchet with a 10mm socket, as well as a 10mm open-ended wrench. Now we also recommend that you have a piece of cardboard or soft foam handy so that you can lay your windshield on it to keep it from being scratched or damaged. Now that we've covered the tools that we will be using, we're ready to move on with the installation of our windshield. Now the first thing we need to do before we can install our windshield is get our extruded channels mounted to the windshield. Now as you can see, we already have our windshield laid out on the cardboard to keep it from being damaged during this process. Now what you're going to want to do is peel back some of the protective plastic from the windshield in the area where the extruded channel is going to secure to, and then you're going to take the portion of the channel that mounts to the front strut and have that facing the opposite direction from the rubber attachment on the bottom of the windshield. Once you have one of the extruded channels firmly pressed into place, you can flip your windshield over and repeat the process. With both extruded channels firmly pressed into place, we're now ready to get the windshield installed on our car. To properly install our windshield, you're going to want to line your extruded channels up with your front struts and then firmly press them into place until you feel it snap. Once you have your extruded channels firmly pressed into place, you can take your windshield and then fold it up and then use the rubber attachments to secure it to the upper portion of the front strut. Once you do this, you're going to want to make any necessary adjustments so that you can line up the holes at the bottom of the windshield with the holes that are in the front struts. Now as you can see here, the hole in the front strut and the notch out in our windshield are not properly aligned yet. Now in order to get these two aligned, you can either take your windshield and bump it up just a little bit if it's close. If you've placed your extruded channels too far down, you can adjust those upwards to make it so that you can line up the hole in the front strut and the notch in the windshield. These need to be lined up so that we can install the final piece of hardware. In order to secure everything in place, we're going to use the hardware that was included with our windshield. And the first thing we need to do is take the rubber grommet and slide it into the notch on our windshield, taking the bottom portion of the grommet and have it firmly placed into the hole in the front strut. Once you've done this, you can then take the bolt that was included with our hardware kit with a flat washer, place it through the front of the rubber grommet and secure it from the back with a flat washer and supplied nut. Now you may need to use a flathead screwdriver to assist in getting the grommet pressed into the hole in the front strut. Now initially you only want to hand tighten your hardware, and once you've done that you can go over to the other side and repeat the process before coming back to tighten everything down. Now once you have all of your hardware hand tight, you can go back and secure everything in place using our ratchet with 10mm socket and our 10mm open-ended wrench. When tightening your hardware, you want to be sure not to over-torque the hardware as you could potentially damage your windshield. It is for this reason that we use hand tools and do not advise the use of power tools when installing the hardware into your windshield. Once you've done this, the next thing we need to do is remove all of the protective film off of our windshield. And once you've removed all of your protective film, that'll conclude the installation of our impact modified windshield, part number WIN-4014 on our 2011 Club Car Precedent. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.